Hello, happy Tuesday. Thanks for coming in tonight, guys. So we are starting a new project. We started it yesterday. We are making some hourglass blocks. This is one of the ones we made yesterday. We actually made 3. So we got this super patchworky one, and we have this green one going. I just love love how shiny this fabric is. I have 6 fat quarters that I cut into 8-inch squares, and then we turn those into these blocks here. So I'm going to make more tonight. I'm going to assembly line style make them tonight. Oh, thanks, Bunny. I'm going to assembly line do it, meaning I'm going to do every step all at once. I'm not going to go through the whole process just to do one block like I did last night. We'll do all the sewing, then all the cutting, all the pressing, and then we'll start pairing them together, pairing our little triangle pairs together. So awesome. Thanks, guys, for coming in. If you're new here, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits, and I'm here every night crafting with you guys at 9:30 p.m. Central. This quilt that I'm making, so I will eventually combine all of these into a quilt. It'll probably be kind of like a little mini quilt. We might add some borders, maybe up to a lap quilt, but I'm going to be giving it away to someone. So there is a link for the giveaway in the description box. Thanks for coming in, everyone. So if you haven't already, go sign up there. And you know what? I'm going to share this video with the Penguin and Fish Crafters page. That's where I'll be announcing group. That's where I'll be announcing the winner when we're done here. So be sure to join the Penguin and Fish Crafters group as well. You can just type in Penguin and Fish Crafters into the Facebook search box, and it will show up there. So I think we're probably loaded. So let me just share this quick, because there's people in that group, and I want to make sure they get this as well. So if you wanted to share too, I would appreciate that. I know there's a pile of people who might want to learn how to do this, the little hourglass block here. Share onto a group. All right, there we go. We are shared. So if you are in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group, you should see this video very soon. So all right, let's get going. I'm all ready to sew. Let's do it. So I'm going to flip you guys around. Thanks again for coming in tonight, guys. And let me know if you are going to try this project out too. I'm excited to see what you guys are up to. And feel free to post what you're working on in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group as well. So, all right, I'm going to set these to the side for a little. We do have a whole pile of triangle pieces from last night that we will eventually work on. But right now, that is still a step ahead for us. Right now, I have a whole stack of 8-inch blocks. I have paired the 8-inch blocks together. So I've chosen a dark fabric and a light fabric in general. I mean, I didn't really start out with true super light ones and true super dark ones. So there's some medium tone ones in there too. But in general, it should sort of be a light and a dark. So a dark and a light here. I've paired those up. And what we're going to do is sew all the way around. And we're going to do that for every single one of my 8-inch blocks. So we are just going to go and go and go with the sewing tonight. It's fun to make the blocks. Oh, Belinda, yes. Oh, yes, I saw your fabric. I'm excited. Excited. See how that goes. Ooh, some of this is just a little stretchy. It's fun to do blocks individually because then you can see them come together like what we did last night. But man, there is some time saved when you do an assembly line, meaning you kind of work on one step of the process before moving on to the next. So I'm stopping about 1/4 inch from the edge before rotating it. Do you use starch or best press? You know what, Linda, I did use starch on this. I'm not sure if I needed to, and I just sprayed it lightly. Oh, thanks, Marianne. And the reason I'm using starch, I don't think you need to. I think you'd be perfectly fine if you didn't. I never used starch until I started working on the Splendid Sampler and people were talking about it, so I'm like, I'm going to give this starch a try. I'm using it for these specifically because we are working with triangles, and when you work with triangles, you're going to end up with an edge that's on the bias, and you can kind of see it here. So fabric, you know, is woven. You got your horizontal and you got your vertical fibers, pieces of thread, right? Whenever you cut it at a 45-degree angle like this, that's called the bias. So you're cutting 45-degree angles across those vertical and horizontal fibers. And when you do that, when you make a cut like that, it becomes very stretchy. So that diagonal is super stretchy compared to the horizontal, and the vertical barely stretches at all. But that horizontal, if I would tug on that, it would get all wavy and stretched out. So I'm going to try and not stretch that. That might be a little trouble later, because with this style where we sew all the way around and then cut, our bias ends up being on the edge that we are going to eventually sew all these together. So they're going to want to stretch. So that is why I did starch it, because I'm hoping that that reduces how much it stretches during this process. However, it's going to stretch no matter what, so I don't know, we'll just see. Oh, Sherry, you started last night. Oh, cool. You'll have to share on the Penguin and Fish Crafters page. You know what I might do here? I might just leave this sit and grab my next square. I might not even cut that off. We'll see if that gets super awkward. It might, since we're going around in a circle, but if that's the case, I'll just trim it. So I'm moving. I got the right sides together on my next two, and I'm kind of just, I call it kitty scratching. I'm just kind of scratching the top of the fabric until the edges are lined up. That's easier than trying to place the fabric perfectly. So this is the next one. We have, how many more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we have 8 more of these. What did we start out with? 24 squares, which means we're sewing 12 of these together. That makes sense, because we did 2 last night. There's 2 here, so there'd be 8 left. Hi, Diane. Hi, everyone. Thanks again for coming in tonight. It's funny, it feels so goofy working on a new project since I've been basically working on the Splendid Sampler. Okay, I'm going to pull this off now. I've been working on the Splendid Sampler nonstop. Oh, guys, I did actually, over the weekend, on the Splendid Sampler, I finished the back of the quilt. It was getting kind of too bulky to do easily here. So, and I wanted it off the floor. I could not stand it anymore. I needed the living room to be clean. So I finished the back of the quilt. But I am going to my parents' house this weekend, and I'm hoping to sandwich the quilt there. Sandwiching meaning have the back of the quilt and the front of the quilt and put the batting in the middle and pin it all together. I'm hoping to do that with my mom this weekend, so I will definitely share that with you guys. You have to finish 2 quilts, and you've started. Oh, you're thinking this might be one of the next tops. So one of the things that just attracted me to this project, just these hourglasses, is that it seemed like a super chill, fast block, or fast quilt to do. And after the Splendid Sampler, you know, which we've been working on for a year and a half, a good solid year and a half, maybe even a little bit more now. consistently every night, I needed a quilt that could get done a whole lot faster. And I wanted to try making this hourglass block, since I haven't on purpose made an hourglass block before. I say on purpose because I've probably made a unit or two, an hourglass unit during a Splendid Sampler probably, or some other quilt block, but I've never gone out for the purpose of, hey, I'm going to make hourglass blocks, and that's the plan. Deborah, I got 2 quilts to finish too. But every once in a while, it just, the inspiration bug hits you and you just gotta start, even if it means another unfinished project. But I'm hoping that that's not what this ends up being. Oh my gosh, you finished a Splendid Sampler for your grandson? That is amazing, Deborah. The Splendid Sampler is starting up again now. I would like to do a few blocks from it. So whatever we are doing next, I will jump in every once in a while on the Splendid Sampler too. We'll do a block here and there. Alright, next up. Got my little stack going. I think I'll put that on the iron so it's ready to go. Can you scratch it into place? Alright. I love this technique. I think it's just a little magical that you can sew around the edge of this, make a few cuts, and then all of a sudden you have a pile of triangles. It's pretty neat. Splendid blocks left. Nice. Good work, Holly. So ready to do a project with less work. I hear you. That is exactly why I'm doing this. You have an embroidery quilt along with 4 blocks left to finish. Oh, wow. You're ready to see some finished projects. That's funny. I hear ya. I'm totally with you. I think that's almost why I started this project, which is counterintuitive, but I started it because I knew it would go, relatively quick. Although I keep making it more work for myself. Like I was gonna do huge 18-inch blocks instead of these 8-inch ones. But then I decided to go smaller, which is more work. I'm pretty good at making projects be bigger than what I was intending them to be. But yeah, I wanted to do a relatively quick project and feel that win. And this is my guilty fabric that I purchased last week too, and I bought it and I'm like, oh my god, why am I buying more fabric? I have so much fabric at home. And I couldn't stop myself from buying all this sparkly fabric. So I needed to make this quilt as a way to be like, hey, it's okay that I bought that fabric. I'm making something out of it right away, and it's not even going to go into storage, for more than a day. So that makes me feel a little bit better. That at least I didn't buy it and let it sit around for ages, which is, what typically I do. But we're getting them done right away this time. Maybe that should be what I do from here on out. Like, I'm only allowed to buy it if I use it immediately. I'm thinking that's never going to work. I think this one's my favorite, this green. I mean, you can't tell on this side, but it's so shiny on the other side. I just love it. Although, when I look at the other fabric, I feel like that's my favorite. too, so. Yeah, I know, Rosalie, where's the fun in that? Just shopping for what I need. Well, I still do have those batiks, the batik fabrics that I got. Ooh, I think they're right here, too. So this is that other fabric that I got at the same time, these batiks. So this is kind of like a lavender pink. Oh, this I just think is so pretty. This kind of greeny yellow with the gray, and then these really pretty blues. And I'm a sucker for like the indigo blue colors. This one's like kind of a deep navy, and this one's more of a black. But oh god, I've never really used batiks except for on accident during the Splendid Sampler. My mom had a few batiks, and I used some of her scraps. And ever since, I've just been wanting to do something with batiks. So that was my other guilty purchase last week. But for some reason, I don't feel guilty about the batiks. Ooh, my food just broke. That's interesting. I wonder if it got caught up here somewhere. Huh. Let's snip this guy off. See what we got going on here. So I'm gonna see if I can get you guys to see here. All right, thread busted. So I wonder if it gets stuck somewhere. I don't know. We will re-thread it though. Thread it all the way from the beginning. So I'm gonna snip the edge. My needle didn't break, did it? No. Oh wow. It's a pretty flimsy needle. So I put a size 70 needle in here. I'm not very good with knowing needle sizes, but I just changed the needle, and the 70 is a little thinner, and it's a little more flexible, so maybe it hit something. About my stash, I need to organize my stash. So I was just asked. Who just asked? Dory. Just asked how I store my stash, and right now the answer is not very well at all. That's why I'm like, have this aversion to buying more fabric right now, because I do have a lot stored. Right now I have it in, all right, let's get you guys back here first. Right now I store everything in plastic bins. I mean, I do have some, oops, sorry guys, let me just try to get situated again here. I do store some of my fabric in a closet in my office. But I'm going to be changing that. I want to go through all my bins again. I have those plastic bins with the latch tops. I'm paranoid about things going in them or them getting wet or something like that, so I have them in those plastic bins. I did sort of recently, like within the past year, organize it from crazy town crazy to sort of similar stuff together, but not anywhere near how I want to do it. So I actually need to go get it all out again and go through it. But at that point, if I come up with a great solution, I will definitely share my stash. Or if maybe one of these days I'll bring it up. It's stored in my basement in bins right now, but maybe I'll have an organization day and I'll bring it up to the living room and share it all with you guys. I actually really like making stuff out of recycled fabric, so I just have a hard time throwing stuff away, I think. So I have my husband's old shirts that I've cut up. I'd love to do a quilt out of those. So I have a bin of just old clothes that I've started to cut up into fabric. Then I just have fabric I've acquired here and there for various reasons. And I don't know, I really do need to go through it though, just to really assess, because I think it's probably a pretty weird looking stash right now. And I used to do a lot of stuff out of wool, so I have a lot of wool laying around too. Kind of like embroidery thread organization video. Haha, Deborah, probably exactly like that. I'll have to, oh, that'd be fun. I'd have to do like a time lapse from the top of my shelf in the living room so you can see the whole living room, because I'm pretty sure that fabric's gonna explode to like be a foot deep in the living room. Ugh, who knows? But yeah, that'd be fun sometime. Ugh, that sounds a little bit like a nightmare, but a little bit awesome, because how cool would that, how cool would it be to have the stash done and organized? And the thing is, I want it all out. Like, I don't want it stored in bins. I want to be able to see it. Or if it is stored in bins, I want it to be accessible and still where I can see it, because I need to be able to see it to use it, which seems obvious, but you know, you'd be surprised. I wish I could just have it all stacked in front of me, then you can just grab any barrier that I can get out of the way, the better. So I don't know, I might have to reorganize my office a little bit and store some more fabric in there too. I don't know if you get, you can kind of tell that this is like a huge, not huge, but this is a swirling dilemma in my brain, my fabric stash. What to do with it. Alright, we have 3 more guys, and then we will be in the cutting zone. Ooh, this one's a little wrinkly. Well, that's okay, we will press it in a sec here. Hey, Cheryl. This is that pretty shiny cream color. Alright, 2 more after this one. Oh, see, that's what I'm excited about. That, Kathy, what you said, that you keep coming across things you forgot you had. For me, I purchased a lot of fabric a long time ago. I went on a quilt shop tour with my mom, and this is like over 10 years ago. This is, God, probably about, oh geez, maybe almost 2 decades ago, which is crazy time. Can it really be that long ago? I don't know, maybe like 15 years ago. But I wasn't much of a quilter. I think that might have even been before I made my first quilt. So now I feel like if I start digging through all that fabric, I'll have a totally different perspective on it all. And I'm kind of excited for that experience. And even now, like now that I've been sewing every night, I don't know, I feel like I have a closer relationship with sewing. Before I would just have an idea and then I'd spend time on it for a little bit and then, you know, move on. But now I'm doing it consistently every night and it changes things a little bit. I started out, Laura, with 6 fat quarters, and I cut each fat quarter into 4 8-inch squares. So I could get 4 8-inch squares out of each of those fat quarters. So basically 24 8-inch squares is what I'm working with. And I have no idea what that'll yield as far as size. I'm just kind of winging it. That's the fabric that I purchased recently just because, and that's why I'm using 6 fat quarters. I think it's going to be a little small. It's going to be baby quilt size, I think. What's worse is when you buy fabric or whatever for a project or two and then can't remember what you have and why you bought it. Yeah, I'm thinking I have a whole pile of things like that. And before I did a lot of quilting, I bought just kind of weird stuff too, like not quilting weight fabric. So I think I have kind of a lot of randoms hidden in my stash too that would at least be nice to separate. You started quilting 30 plus years ago. Stashing started shortly after. I'm sure it did. I don't know, this year I've been trying to, which, you know, you wouldn't know by this, but I've been trying to get through a bunch of my UFOs, or, you know, my unfinished objects is what that stands for in quilty land. So I have been working through some old projects, like my jean quilt. That I feel pretty confident that I will get done this year, maybe even this summer. And that I started like 8 years ago and have been working on and off. Like I'll go into stints where I just need to work on it. All right, we got one more, guys. But then this past year I started consistently working on it, and it's actually almost done. So that will feel, when the Splendid Sampler is done and when my jean quilt is done, I will feel like king of the world or something, as far as finishing unfinished projects, even though it's just 2, but still. I heard about this method from Jenny Down of the Missouri Star Quilt Company. Oh, cool, but never tried it. Yeah, I've tried this. Oh man, it's catching funny again, my thread. But I've tried this with making half square triangles. Actually, for my block 11 of the Splendid Sampler, this is how I originally did my half square triangles for the corners of my block. I think it's different in the book, just so that's more consistent with, I don't know, how people usually do half square triangles. But I just love the technique so much. I think it's just, I love the cleverness of just being able to sew all the way around. It's something about that for me. There's something specifically about that feels kind of magic. Yeah, I will definitely feel like I've accomplished something after getting through the Splendid Sampler quilt and my jean quilt. They will both almost be at the same stage soon. So the jean quilt, I have been hand tying it for quilting, so I'm at the quilting stage of that. I'm almost done, and almost done is kind of relative. It's still several days more of hand tying. But soon my Splendid Sampler quilt will be at the quilting stage 2. After this weekend, I'm hoping I'll be at the quilting stage. I'm going to attempt to quilt it, straight line quilt it on here, which might be a disaster, but we're going to give it a try. Alright guys, this is my last little couple stitches here. Let's press these and start cutting them into all of the fun shapes. This is it for sewing for a little while. So, alright, I'm going to even shush this guy a little bit out of the way here. Let's see all our blocks. So, alright, I am going to give these all a good press before I cut them. Cutting them is the next step, our fun little way that we're going to cut like a bajillion cuts out of it. But first I want to just set the seam, and this will help relax the seam as well, and it will all lay flat. Aaron's got to wake up a hair, but I think we're good. So let's go through these. There should be 10 of them because we did 2 yesterday. Alright. So one, I did not do pockets for the jean quilt, Joe. I did it all, it's a log cabin style, so I cut a bunch of 1.5-inch strips of jeans and then made a log cabin style quilt out of that. I'll have to share that with you guys again sometime soon. My mom, I think, sort of finished her quilt, her Splendid Sampler quilt. So she's technically done, and it's quilted together, and it is in use. They're using it in their trailer, their Airstream. They got an Airstream a few years ago, and it looks awesome in there. But she's going to be, I think, hand stitching around each block. you know, while they're on the road in the trailer, then she'll have a craft project for the trailer. So technically, you could call it done. I think it's bound and everything too, but she is going to be going back in, unless she decides not to do that extra little hand stitching. Just a little square around each square. I think nothing not like detailed inside it. Just a little running stitch by hand. I think it's going to look really cute. Yeah, so Joe, for the jean quilt, I made 16, so it's 4 squares by 4 squares, 16 large log cabin. Like, I think they're like 20 plus inches, these squares. So large log cabin blocks. And log cabin blocks typically have a dark side, like a dark edge. You know, like this part of a log cabin is dark, and then this part is light. I use the outside of the jeans for the dark and the inside for the light to get that effect, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's my favorite part. All right. Yep, her mini, in her quilts in her mini home. All right, here are our new blocks. So let's, we're at cutting time now. So to do this part of the process again, I'm kind of lining it up on my cutting board. It's 8 inches, so I'm going to put it right on, you know, square it up kind of here, so that I can do 4 inches this way. But first, I'm going to. Geez, sorry guys, I almost tipped this over. All right, I'm going to sew the diagonal, both diagonals, and then at the halfway point this way too. So it's a whole pile of cuts, but that's kind of where all the magic happens. So, all right, I'm going to start with the diagonals. This is how you can do half square triangles as well, which I think is really fun. So I'm not going to move these. I'm going to leave them as is. Do this other diagonal. And if these aren't totally perfect, it's fine, because when we sew them together, we're going to be trimming them down a hair. You saved yours are a quilt for many, many years. Yeah, it's mostly my husband's jeans. I was going to do it both of our jeans, but women's jeans have all that stretch in, and I wasn't liking that. So if you do just the diagonals, you'll have 4 half square triangles. Ooh, that's kind of crazy looking. But we are going to keep going. So let me put that back, because we don't want half square triangles. We want these, I don't know, what are these units called? We want these little triangle bits that we can sew together into our hourglass. So there's that side, one more cut. This was the cut that was kind of difficult for me. I think we'll go over, oh there. I just have to go over, you guys. There we go! So now we have 8 pieces. Yeah, the back of this is cool, isn't it? It's almost batik just because of how rich it is. All right, so now we have 8 little groupings like this. And if I can find one that's the same. So you'll have like mirror images. Oh, quarter square triangle units. Well, that makes sense. There, so we'll have some that are the same. So, you know, the light and then dark, light and dark. And then some that are opposite, dark to light. So eventually we'll take ones that are the same. You'll rotate one, and once we sew that together, we will have another hourglass unit. That's pretty striking, this light color and this really dark color. So this will be another one of our hour blocks. But tonight we are assembly lining it, so I'm going to just throw all these in a stack. I'm going to actually put it on top of my other stack here, and we're going to just end up with a bajillion triangles that will that will press eventually. But we got 9 more of these to cut, and I think that will be the plan for tonight. I'm not sure we'll get much farther than that tonight. So cutting tonight are quarter square triangles in this fancy, fun way of doing it, magic way. I'm going to call it the magic way of doing it, of cutting quarter square triangles for an hourglass block. Diagonal, diagonal, and then halvesies, which in my case is 4 inches. If you weren't here last night, I know we were having a little technical difficulties last night, but last night we did 1 block all the way through. So if you wanted to see the whole process a lot quicker, you can go check out last night's block. I got a peek though. Ooh, I think this is my favorite. I love these two. These two are my not favoriteest fabrics, I think. Let's have to see what they look like. Oh, that's an opposite one. There we go. Ooh, love it. Ah, okay. Just have to peek. So here are all my triangles. Next up. Oh my gosh, Joe, that would be quite the project. Your daughter's, her husband's old military uniforms. Wow. That'd be, man, I wonder how you'd have to like, the disassembly of it itself into usable fabric, I think would be quite the project. But fun. It's neat. Alright, these are kind of shimmying apart, so I'm just going to put them together again. So like I was saying, it is fun. I'm going to shimmy it up a little bit more. It is fun doing a block all the way through, like we did yesterday. But doing this assembly line stuff, it really ultimately makes things go a lot faster. And that's why I'm doing this project, right? Was to get a quick-ish win. Oh, we gotta see what it looks like. Ooh, I like this too. This is the fabric that started the like fever of me having to buy all these sparkly fabrics. It's just, look at it, it's got that gold sparkle in, and this has some silver sparkle. All right, let's see what this one looks like. Ooh, love it. That one's really a big contrast. It's very kind of holiday-ish. This whole quilt might be a little holiday-ish, but you know, oop, I almost started cutting that. I need it lined up on the edge here. I might add a big border, or maybe even some sashing, or you know what? I might even add some squares to go in the middle of the squares. Like I might just have the hourglass blocks every other one, and then have like light colored blocks here. That could make the quilt a whole lot bigger, like lap size. But I think whatever we use for those colors, the border and you know any sashing or extra blocks, I think that will really help determine the feel of this quilt. Like we could go full blown like holiday quilt, or we could try and tone down that a little bit, and I think that's probably my goal. Thanks, Carol! Actually, working on this project makes me want to go back to where I got the fabric and raid the fat quarter bin again. So that is the opposite. That's a good reaction, but the opposite reaction I wanted from making this quilt. I wanted to get it all out of my system, but I think I'm just adding, you know, to me wanting to do it. Ooh, that's gonna be pretty. This one almost looks like velvet, but it's just those rich colors that they used. That one's gonna be cool. to our monster pile that we got going on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 more including this one, so 6 more total. That you'd wait, give it to our time. Oh, that's awesome. Jeez, she has a lot of them. Sign of being a quilter. When you work on a project, it doesn't relieve the stress of like, oh my god, not the bad stress, but the like, I have an idea and I need to see what this idea looks like immediately, and I need to touch and use all this fabric. Like that stress, that instead of that going away, it just you know, gets magnified by working on it. Oh, silliness. Well, that's fine. I'm okay with wanting to make a whole ton more because I'm excited about this project, but I'm hoping I raid my own actual fabric stash next time instead of buying more. Oh wow, yep, you got time to figure it out, Joe, that's nice. Alright, I'm wasting time peeking at every single one. Ooh, look at those greens. I think I have the same reaction to everyone I do. Ooh, but this one especially I think is really pretty. This is that green fabric that has just got a little shimmer in it. Not glitter, but more kind of foil, or like metallic ink almost. I like it. I feel like these fabrics that I picked out are sort of my, like, kind of similar to the colors I gravitate towards, but at the same time, totally different. So I feel, I don't know, I feel a little weird, like, good, though, about these colors. I'm excited to see what they turn out like all together, because I don't know, because they're unusual a little bit to me. Do I ever not want to craft? Not really. You know, the only time I don't always want to craft is if I have to get stuff out to do it. Then sometimes I won't craft. But if everything is out, which is typical, our house has like a craft around every corner. It's kind of ridiculous, but I need it that way. As long as it's out and I can just grab it, then yes, I definitely always want to craft. If I don't want to craft, it's usually because I want to read my book. I love reading. Ooh, this is pretty too, these two together. I love reading, so have some coffee and a book or crafting. If that was my life and that was it, that'd be pretty sweet. Actually, you know what? It is pretty close to that now, which is nice. So, all right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 left. This fabric is fun too. But yeah, I grabbed that cream colored fabric, the cream with that gold sparkle in, and I was like, I need every fat quarter here that is sparkly. And I think they all were kind of like these greens and blues, so it kind of turned out. It took 7 years for your daughter to get the wedding quilt. Nice. Hey, you can always use a quilt, though. So it doesn't matter if they got it right away or not. All right. Man, I'm sure happy I changed my blade on my rotary cutter though before starting. You need your one of your brothers to have another kid so you can make baby quilts. That's funny. My mom has a few baby quilts just in the wings, ready if someone has a baby. Yeah, the whitish one, it does look like marble, doesn't it? This blue, this one's sparkly marble. Fun. But you can kind of see, I am trying to keep like this whole dark and light thing going, so you are seeing, I think overall we'll get a sense that we're doing lights and darks, even if I mix and match them, because I'm planning on, hold on, let me get one that's right. I'm planning on kind of mixing them like this. So this was kind of cool because these are similar and those are different. I'm planning on doing a lot of that, kind of the whole thing just really patchworky. Some of them might match up, but not all of them. All right, we got 3 more of these, and I think that's how far we'll get tonight after I'm done with these 3. We might have a little bit of time to press these. Press these tonight too, although there's a bajillion of them. Well, we could start pressing maybe, and I don't know. We'll see how we feel after we're done with these 3. The sooner we press them, the sooner we can sew them. That's the only thing I'm thinking in my head. Is that. Man, this is fun though, this assembly line way of doing this. You can really feel the steps getting done when you assembly line, so. You guys make sure to sign up to win this quilt if you haven't done that yet. It's a new, thought that'd be fun to do. We've seen these 2. Oh, I think we might have had these 2 together already, but these 2 go really well together, I think, because this has got all this gold, and the glitter in this one is gold. Yes, these pieces are, feel a whole lot bigger than what the Splendid Sampler one was, and it's like assembly line doing a pile of the same thing, and there's something with that monotonous, feel to that. It just feels good. So you could do hourglass blocks like this and really, really quickly make a baby quilt, because you could, first of all, you could use less than 6 fat quarters, and you could do bigger squares. You could do like 4 fat quarters and do really large squares, and then do an hourglass block and then like a white square, and then an hourglass block and a white square, like, you know, offset the hourglass blocks. Kind of, I might actually do that for this. But you could whip up a baby quilt super fast and it'd still have stuff going on. It wouldn't be just like you know, a single piece of fabric. It'd still be pieced and quilted, and you know, it'd be made out of blocks instead of just fabric. All right, let's see what this one looks like. Ooh, I like when the colors are together. So I like the blues together, and I like the greens together. Blue and white marble looks like, oh, trees in wintertime. Oh, I can't open this. Jeez. It does look like trees in wintertime. Yeah, we definitely have like a winter feel going here, I think. Maybe we should just go with it. This can be someone's winter baby quilt or something. I don't know, it might end up being bigger. It might end up being lap size. In that case, it'd be a good winter holiday blanket or something. This is that dark green and the light green together. Too, I think I really like this one. This combo. Stay together. So I did look into the disappearing hourglass block, which is similar. It's not necessarily similar to an hourglass block, but it is made out of an hourglass block. And if I have one more sitting around, like one more hourglass block sitting around when we're done, I'd like to try a disappearing hourglass block. And I'll tell you briefly what it is, because it's kind of cool. Oh, so used to watching me doing the improv blocks, you're not used to seeing me with a ruler. Oh, that's so funny. That's the first time I did stuff without a ruler, with those improv blocks. Maureen, I finished the back of the quilt with all those improv blocks. So I'll have to share that soon. This might be my favorite. All right, so we're done with all our squares, or triangles, quarter square triangles. Look at them all. That's a whole lot. See, I'm making this project bigger than it needs to be again by making all these. Oh yes, so Sherry, post pictures of what you're working on the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. So if you're not part of that group, just click join and I will say yes. And I've opened it up now. It used to be just to share the penguin and fish stuff that you're working on, like our embroideries. But I wanted to open it up to whatever you guys are working on, because I love watching what you guys make. And, you know, on here in the live streams in the evening, we make all sorts of things. So I will still show a bunch of penguin and fish stuff there, but I want to open it up to share anything that you guys are making. So here's what, I just want to touch on this really quick because I think it's kind of cool, what a disappearing hourglass block is. So after you make an hourglass block, we would cut it in thirds both ways. So cut it in thirds this way and cut it in thirds this way. And then by rearranging the blocks a little bit, that's a disappearing hourglass block. And it makes a really cool kind of shape. So I do want to kind of try that. Oh yes, I'd love to see your hourglass blocks. Yeah, if any of you guys are making hourglass blocks like this, be sure to join the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. When you do a search in Facebook for Penguin and Fish Crafters will most likely pop up, and just click join on there. And yes, I want to see what you guys are working on for sure. Okay, so tomorrow we will press all of these. We'll press all of these open, and then I'm going to group them, darks on this side, lights on this side, and then darks on this side, lights on this side, since we have both pairs, and I need to be able to grab from the same pile. So that'll help that organization right away. I started out with 8-inch squares, 24 8-inch squares. So 12 groupings, 12 pairs of 8-inch squares. And I am not quite sure how big this quilt is going to be because we're kind of winging it, Kathy. These will end up being, once I trim them, they'll be 4.5 inches. So once they're sewn together, they'll be 4 inches. Oh, math in my head this late is not going to work. But how many of these are we going to end up with? I forget. I think we still end up with 24 maybe? I'm not quite sure. So I'll have to figure that out. And again, I might be changing things up. So I might not patchwork them together like this. I might put ones in the middle here too to make it an even bigger quilt. So we'll see. So I'm not quite sure what size quilt this is going to be made into. Right now, my only goal was to cut up 6 fat quarters and turn them into hourglass blocks, and we'll just see what we end up with. It's kind of a weird way. I've never done this before. I've never worked on a quilt that I didn't have completely planned out before. You know what I mean? I don't have a plan for this other than what we've already done. So we're going to continue, just make the rest of them, and then we'll play. What do we want to make this into? I'll lay them all out. We'll see how big it is. We might want to make it really patchworky where everything butts up against each other, or we might want blocks in the middle, or maybe we want like rows. We could do like a row of them and then like a solid row. I have no idea. Oh, you do it without planning more often than not? I don't know. I'm getting better at the lack of planning, I think. what's next, but yes, keep throwing out your ideas because I'm not quite sure. Oh, if I do decide to do it every other one, I will bring some fabrics out and we'll see. And you know what, guys? We also have this much fabric left from our fat quarters. So I mean, we could pepper in squares of these every once in a while too, Like that could be pretty interesting because we'll have enough to do little squares like that. So I think we should just do that anyway. Cut up some of these and use it somehow in the quilt because then I'm using up the fabric. So we have options. So we will get to those options for sure. But next up, we will be pressing these and then making pairs so we can sew them together into our hourglass blocks. So that is for tomorrow, guys. I'm going to flip you around and we'll call it an evening. There, hello. So the video went a whole lot better as far as not cutting out for people tonight, it seems. I do have the air conditioning pumping tonight. I think that actually made a kind of a huge difference. So we'll see. I'll just have to keep it cool in here. Then my device won't overheat. But all right, tomorrow we'll be putting some of these together. I think they'll probably end up more patchworky like this, which I think will give an overall just fun patchwork look to this. At this point, I think that's what I'm going for. But we'll see. Like I said, it's pretty flexible. So again, be sure to sign up to try and win the quilt. And I'll be giving away this quilt, whatever it ends up being, once we're done here. And I'll make that announcement in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. So make sure to sign up in the link in this video. And then also check out the Penguin and Fish Crafters group and join there. And to share what you're working on too. Where do you sign up? Sherry, it should be in the description in the Facebook link right here. And if you're people who are watching on YouTube, I'll have the link in the description in the YouTube video as well. So, all right, guys, I will catch you tomorrow night. We will continue on our hourglasses. I'm excited to get these pressed and matched up. I think that's where the magic is going to start happening with it. So, all right, have a great evening. I will catch you tomorrow. Good night.